Oh my God.
Joy, what was your first experience of like getting feedback? Because I feel like we started to get it right around this episode.
I don't know. I mean, I know that what I remember was that there were message boards. That was still like, there was still dial-up, I think, at that time. I don't remember. But it was definitely like MySpace and message boards. And it was not fancy or slick or pretty or anything. So you'd just go find your show on a message board and then just like search your name or look for whatever people were, whatever the topics were. I don't remember. I could make something up, but I just don't remember.
No, that's good. That means it wasn't traumatic.
No, it wasn't. I was concerned with what people thought. I think it probably did inform things that I maybe fought for or didn't fight for, but I wish I had a memory of it. I don't, but you do. You remember seeing things that people didn't like. Did it affect you when you went to work the next week or the next day, or were you like trying to make different choices? How did it affect you?
I was certainly concerned about storyline, because the show I signed up for was one thing. It evolved into this other thing that's like making vibrator jokes with teenage girls and like staying out drinking all night,
Yeah.
Even though the lights are all on. It definitely gave me like a lot of anxiety, especially because our bosses were aware of it. Like they brought it up to me. They're like, man, everybody hates you. We're not sure how to like circle back and get them to like you, but they really like the other girls a lot better. And so there was a part of me also that was like, well, maybe I lean into this. Like, the first lesson they teach you in acting school is the bad guy doesn't know they're the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
So there certainly was a part of season 1 where I'm like, oh, I'm the bad guy. Like, I guess I didn't realize it when I auditioned for the show, but I'm the bad guy. And that made it a lot easier to do questionable things, to just like lean into the surly.
That's so interesting that you felt like the bad guy.
That's like the beginning of it all, too. The beginning of the separation, the segregation of the three of us, of like, the idea that you're somehow unliked and the rest and the that somehow you're the odd man out. Wow.
And there was always something. There was always a little earworm they'd give us, right? Like, oh, well, this was good, but what they really liked was when she did that. And who's really good is
that buckle on Sophia's shirt. The sponsors loved it.
It's like, they wanted us to feel like if anyone else was succeeding, we were failing, was how we were made to feel, rather than you guys are all doing a really good job. And like, here's what your strengths are. And we're really proud of you. That certainly was not.
Isn't it crazy how in direct, like opposite from the storyline of the show it is? Like you've got Deb and Karen and you've got Peyton and Haley, like all kumbaya. Like this is awesome. But then the behind the scenes, what was that show that True Hollywood Story, where they like ruin everything? Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. The behind the scenes was so different. So it's crazy that the same brains were coordinating both.
But what's interesting to me is when I think about the fact that there was such huge conflict between Lucas and Nathan. And in so many high school shows, the conflict is between the girls. Yeah. But the conflict with the kids was between the boys. So in a way, in the beginning, they wrote us very atypically. They kind of switched the traditional gender roles. And later, as the boys repaired their relationship, they created rifts with the girls. And later, they also started taking things from our real lives and putting them in the shows in very manipulative ways. Because, there were people...
I was just going to say, though, that's like a great point that they wrote us as like 90s boys.
Yeah.
What 90s boy would be your character?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Oh, gosh.
Sorry, I've been watching Friends.
Like, I'm thinking, like, who was the B. Arthur of 90s boys? I'm like, for myself.
Yeah.
Like,
you mean you as a person, or like as the
character?
Like, who would have been
like,
Haley? Who was like the 90s boy of?
I think you're totally right. Sophia, they wrote you as like the Paul Walker. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, I was going to say I was the Pacey. You think I'm the Paul Walker? That's so flattering.
From Varsity Blues, just like having sex on the washing machine, and I'm fun. I'm the star.
Yeah, like the party boy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, she kind of was the captain of the football team.
Yes, 100%. The alpha.
Okay, so who's the boy who's loved?
Haley?
Yeah.
Who's Haley?
I didn't watch like 90210, but I feel like there's somebody in there.
I mean, there's strong Josh Jackson vibes, I think. Like super frank. I could live on a boat.
Yeah.
You know?
Like Boy Next Door, but no BS.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Childhood love.
I like that.
Still think
go for that. Go for some
that
Pacey.
Haley and Lucas energy is just so latent and prime. It's
Who's
prime.
yours? Who's your 90s boy?
I don't know. What I'm afraid of is that I'm like,
Were you Luke Perry? Were you Dylan?
I think
you were
yeah.
Dylan.
I think you were Dylan.
Guys, I
Yes.
watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, with my son, and I was like, oh my God. I didn't want to be Buffy. I wanted to be Luke Perry. Like that was my angst. Yeah.
That feels really appropriate because as a young teen myself, I didn't know if I wanted to be Luke Perry or date Luke Perry. And I feel like Brooke doesn't know if she wants to be Peyton or date her. So
I mean, that's what it's so, because over the years, so many people have come up to us and talked about sexuality and being teenage girls. And while we were so worried about being painted as these like little sex puppets for men, you know, what I didn't realize is how much energy people were picking up on, you know, for a whole rainbow of preferences.
Yep.
And seeing it in myself in this episode, you know, I kind of gasped when Peyton comes or is like hanging out with Haley outside of the bathroom, because I was like, is Peyton flirting with Haley? It was like I'm watching a totally different person.
Yep.
But I was also enamored with you, Joy. And so maybe, yeah, probably just like, yo, girl, you trying to get out of here?
It's high school.
Yeah.
It's hormones. We're all trying to figure out like who are we and what do I do with all these hormones and
how do I feel about this? And I think the reality is that what you see on screen, I mean, my God, we were watching the episode and we were like, oh, the vibes are strong. The vibes are strong in the bathroom hallway. And I think the truth of the matter and you know, the reality, even when we think about all of our lives behind the scenes, as you said, it's messy because you are a young person trying to figure out what attraction means. You know, now as an adult, I'm like, oh my God, I'm attracted to the brains and intellects and spirits of all of my friends. And of, you know, I have writing crushes on people. But when you're a teenager, you're just like, well, a crush is a crush is a crush. You don't know the difference between what makes you drawn to a person. And that, I think, is about that era of figuring it out. And I think that's why, even though our show was very binary at the time and because of who it was written by, I think so many people, as you mentioned, with a, you know, spectrum of preferences felt represented by us anyway. Because in a way
they could
we
read
were,
into it what they wanted to see.
Yes, we were still representing that curiosity and that finding of ourselves regardless of where our characters found themselves.
Which, to your point, Sophia, that we at that age, you know, we are all trying to figure out where we fit and where we belong, and so much of how we figure that out is by what we watch and what we see around us. You know, the shows that we consume as young people make a huge impact on that. Which again goes back to parenting, which is why parenting is so important. That, you know, you're not just getting all your information from TV. Because God, I mean, my idea of romance and attraction and what I thought relationships should be like.
Was it Pride and Prejudice, Joy? What was? What was your like dream romance as a teenager?
Oh my gosh. Well, The Princess Bride, of course.
Well, as you wish.
Could my expectations get any higher? Please.
You and me both. Oh my.
And, you know, any of those great rom-coms, My Best Friend's Wedding. which is super bittersweet and like not the kind of way that you want to model your,
Yeah.
But it's like you need, that's why parents are so important and why I'm so grateful that we had, Keith doing some great parenting in this show, in this episode for sure. I mean, let's talk about that. Karen also, giving great advice, and Deb was trying, but Nathan didn't seem to really listen. But I loved that Keith was like, I'm not letting you kids just run riot and get away with anything. I'm going to make some phone calls and you guys have to own up to your responsibilities.
Yeah.
It's nice to see that.
Yeah, it was so nice to see the adults in the room force them to deal with the mess they'd made the night before.
And Keith, by the way, like, had we seen him interact with Nathan at any point yet?
No,
like, the first thing we see is him, like, it's like
try not to kill each other, girls.
Yeah, he probably had like Christmas with this kid when he was little. They've had to sit with each other at Thanksgiving. And so for him to call and rat him out and be like, if your dad won't parent you, I will parent you.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a big step.
Yeah. And to not only demand that these kids learn something and behave, even if not in the moment, in the aftermath, with a modicum of respect. And then you see Deb, when she gets into it with Dan, and Dan says, well, he's a good kid, and she tells him what he did. And she says, a good kid based on what? His scoring average? And it's like, do you even know what's going on with your kid? Or are you just concerned with his performance?
You're so right, Sophia. Think about a lot of the other shows, or a lot of shows I see now with teenagers. And sorry if I sound like an old lady, but like they're so disrespectful.
Yeah.
They're so disrespectful. And you're right. There was at least a lot of the kids on our show, when they were speaking to an adult, that respect was still represented.
And if they were disrespectful, they got called on it.
Right.
Which I think is so important. And when we took it a step farther and said, what's motivating them? What's hurting them? Deb throwing that in Dan's face. She was like, you're paying attention to what he's doing, not how he is.
Yeah.
And, that hits different for me now.
It makes me want to see more of Deb.
More of Deb.
More Deb?
More
Tell
Deb,
me
you
more.
say? How
More
can we
Deb.
get more of Barbara Allen Woods?
Yeah. I think what's cool is that if this script came across our desks like right now, I like the women that Deb and Karen are. Like, this would be something where I'd be like, that sounds neat. Okay, so it was not lost on us.
No.
We have crashed the comet how many times?
How many times, though?
Over the
We
course of
actually
this
need
show.
to know. Somebody has to find out.
Yeah, because we don't know. Because I forgot that Nathan crashed it. I know I crashed it once. Did Luke crash it at some point?
I feel like maybe. I feel like that poor car really got harmed often.
Well, there were two of them.
Yeah.
They kept two on the lot. We had Steve Thompson's,
Yep.
and that was our Alpha car.
Yeah.
He worked in our camera department.
That was the one we never hurt.
Yeah, that was the one that drove.
He's like, you cannot hurt this
He's
car.
like, don't you scratch my car.
There was this other car that it was like the punching bag that we, had to keep kind of looking like the Comet. But then I heard that the Comet got sold, and I would see people post about like, oh, I bought the Comet. And I'm like, which one?
Which one?
You're like, is it the one we crashed into a telephone pole? Because if so, I am sorry.
Sorry, guys. I will admit that sometimes I go on classic car websites and shop
look for one?
that Comet.
You do.
Yeah. I should have bought it.
I
mean,
think you deserve it.
Steve
do.
offered to sell it to me when I first left the show, but it was too new.
Too
you know what I mean?
close.
Like, I couldn't have it sit in my driveway.
No.
It was like, yeah. And now I'm like, that's my car. Give me my car back.
Damn.
I want it. One of these days.
Okay, so really what this is a call out. If anyone
has
is
that?
listening and happens to be an excellent internet sleuth, and I know y'all are out there because you find things like pictures of Joy in a penis hat. You turn them up all the time. If somebody out there, I'm sorry, in a green hat, please don't don't Photoshop the thing I just said. It's not appropriate.
Don't do that, guys.
Don't
Now
do
I'm
that.
waiting for it.
Keep
Okay.
it classy.
The internet's a rough place.
Keep it classy, internet
Yeah,
friends.
please.
But in your classy searches of iconic One Tree Hill history, if someone finds a comet on the internet, please email us the link at our Drama Queens email address. We would like to see it. And perhaps
Am I going to be
place an
self-conscious
anonymous
about it,
bid.
though? Can I drop my son off at school in Peyton's Comet?
Well,
Just like,
Yes.
hey guys.
A,
Playing the theme
yes. B, I also sort of love the idea, since this is our 2.0 adventure, like, why can't you paint it white? Or paint it red? Like,
Or
you
like
could.
Mary Kay Pink.
Sure.
Let's get real drama queen
Like a
with
pink
it now.
Cadillac. You can do
Yes,
whatever you
baby.
want. You can have your version of her car.
All right. Drama queens at iHeartRadio.com. Someone's going to find me a comet.
And we want to know how many times the comet was crashed.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us.
2 pieces of information we could use from you, our friends out there.
Yeah.
Word. Who wants to do superlatives,
I
friends?
do.
Are we
Let's
doing
do
most
it.
likely to?
Most likely to.
Bring it
We
on.
really need to get the sound of a drum roll for these moments because I
Of one of
I
those
just
wheels
need
like
it.
the tick, 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 tick,
Yeah.
tick, 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 tick.
What do we got?
Woo!
Oh, hey
Most
now.
likely to get married in Vegas.
Interesting. Okay, so we should have a real life option and then a character option.
Okay.
What do we think?
I
mean,
think the person who's most likely to get married in Vegas is definitely Tim.
oh, sweet Tim. He would just take whatever he could get.
Sweet
What a
baby.
sweet. Yeah, Tim definitely. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Any cheerleader.
Just like we're going to Vegas. I see it.
Yeah, I don't know that I disagree with that. I don't know that I can come up with a better one.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's great.
Okay, but who in real life? Like, who's the most impulsive member of our gang? I'm trying to think if anyone did get married in Vegas. Did
anyone?
I would.
You would, Joy.
you would?
Yeah. Oh, you would like
mean-
elope with a pair of cowboy boots on under your dress and just like
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, I would do it.
Wait,
Yeah.
are we going to solicit for that on the internet too?
Everybody, who should Joy date? Yes.
Yes. Yeah, fine.
I love this.
Not
Okay.
the first wedding. You don't want your first wedding in Vegas, but if you're gonna have a second
No.
one, go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Go to the courthouse or go
Wait.
to Vegas.
Aren't we going to Vegas soon, Joy?
Oh, that's right. Okay, so
Oh.
I have to find someone to marry, someone who I want to marry within the next like
By the
2
Give us
fall.
your type. Like,
Oh, yeah,
gonna be
yeah, yeah,
tough.
yeah.
design your type right now.
Oh, gee whiz. Oh, gee willikers, guys.
You're like, oh, well, okay,
We're
if
gonna
I must.
manifest it.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
We're gonna blow on the dice.
Y'all,
and
I
it's
just
all
want
gonna-
like a nice, tall Christian cowboy.
Oh
I
my
want somebody who's
God.
like Cole Hauser on Yellowstone, but just plus some Jesus, like that Johnny Cash kind of Jesus. I want somebody who's a little bit grouchy and rough, but also is a big teddy bear inside and
Alan Jackson jeans.
Smart. He's got to be real smart. Like I got to have a really good conversations. That
Yeah.
it kills me if that's not. And I got to laugh. Got to make me laugh.
All right.
Yeah.
Giddy up, cowboy.
There you go.
We're coming to Vegas. You've got
Get
your
ready.
shot.
I'll take an Irish lumberjack too. Anybody, I don't want to like weed out the rest of the world.
Yeah, okay.
So-
I can see that vibe.
What you're saying is you like rural. It doesn't matter
Rugged
like
and
what
rural,
country.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Okay.
used to say when I was on the market, I used to say, this is hard, but I need someone who can go rugged to red carpet. Like you got to run the ranch and you have to be able to drop into a tux with me because we have things to go to. And
That's so funny.
Places to go.
if you say
I kind of find
if you
it
say it
endearing
enough,
when I date someone and they like don't quite know how to dress for a carpet. It's kind of sweet. I don't know.
yeah.
Aw.
No, your sneakers look good, baby. I
All
promise.
it takes is 2 birthdays and a Christmas, and you can make over anyone.
Boom.
Oh, that's
That's
true.
right.
Two
That's
birthdays and a
You're good
Christmas.
at that. You're good at that. You're like, I'll fix you. Don't worry. No,
I'm like, just wear
worries.
this. Okay, so we know that our angel Brett Claywell's character Tim is probably going to go to Vegas, and that feels right to all of us. And then Joy, we'll see what happens in September.
Hey, I'll be there. You know, if you're like a nice Christian cowboy who's like tough and smart and, you know, grouchy, meet me in Vegas. You know what
Grouchy is
Make sure your jeans are tight, sir. But
if you're too pleasant, I don't believe you.
yeah, exactly. You gotta be just a little cranky. But until we meet this grouchy, cranky cowboy, we do have some listener questions in the meantime. The first one comes in from our friend Jacob, who says, my two best friends, Courtney and Marissa, and I are going to Wilmington for our vacation to sightsee all the One Tree Hill sites. We've enjoyed making a list of things and are even using things from your podcast to add to it. Hey, cuties! Are there any hidden gems you guys would suggest?
Well, Lee tipped everyone off to the brasserie last week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about that tea? Is the tea room on Water Street still there?
No, you guys, I think that's up for sale. That's that listing I sent you. So we have this secret dream of getting a shop together, like the three of us.
In Wilmington.
So I scour real estate listings and then send them to these two at 2:00 in the morning.
It's my favorite thing.
What about the right next to it? There's a French place. I want to say it's like Le Cotillon.
Le Catalan.
The Catalan. That's
Le
right.
Catalan.
Yeah. They've got a good. They've got a good like what's it with the hot dog wrapped in a croissant and they serve it with mustard.
Like a pig in a blanket?
Yeah, but it's French.
It has a fancy name.
Le pig en
Le pig en
cochon. Le cochon.
Oh my God, I love it. Those little spots downtown, I will say what I know will always be there that you must go to is Kilwin's ice cream, especially because it's going to be summer.
And you can smell it.
You can smell the waffle cones cooking from outside. Literally, my mouth is watering thinking about it. Their chocolate chip cookie dough is the best ice cream I've ever had in my life. So
oh my God, they're toasted coconuts off the chain too.
It's just so good. Please go have some for us. Go to the brasserie for that mac and cheese that is Lee Norris's favorite. And you must go to Wrightsville Beach, A, because it's, again, the summertime, and B, because Tower 7 is there. And those tacos.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And for shopping, go to the Edge of Urge.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is that still there?
Yeah.
Oh, it's totally still there. And they've also got a location in Raleigh. I think we all know I'm going to talk about the bar scene.
Hey.
Blue Post is the spot. You know, we were friends with the owners when we were there. We're still friends with the owners. In fact, so over the Christmas break, Jeffrey had to shoot a movie. And they shot the entire movie without him, like in LA or somewhere else. And then they just had to shoot his coverage. They had like a body double for him. So they literally just needed to shoot his coverage. And we were in the Outer Banks. And they were like, we'll meet you in Wilmington. We need a bar, but everything's closed for COVID. So where can we shoot? And so I called Barbara Wheaton, the owner of Blue Post, and was like, yo, girl, my husband's got to do a movie. Can they shoot in your bar? And she was like, oh my God, yes. So they opened it up for this, this production. But it will only be Jeffrey's side
Oh my
of the
God.
movie right outside of Blue Post. So it was really cool. I think they had to double like sand dunes in the desert. And so they drove out to Carolina Beach in the middle of the night and cheated the beach for the desert, which is
my God.
totally
so
crazy. But
cool.
That's the magic of movie making.
Magic.
Yeah,
Blue Post is great. And Yosaki, like karaoke at Yosaki was so fun.
So fun. And if you go to Blue Post, look for our little placards because Blue Post has a beer list. You will not get through it in 3 days, our friend Jacob and Courtney and Marissa.
You can try.
It took us all a while. I think it's like 64 beers or something, and some of them are disgusting on purpose. And you have to drink all of them, and then you get a little placard on the wall with your name on it.
Did you do it?
Of course I did it.
I never did that.
Oh, I did it. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, give me all the beers. Let's do this. I want to leave my mark on Wilmington in this bar.
Your face is painted on the side of the studio, but you're like, I'm going to get that
I'm like, I'm
going
gonna get that little placard on that post. And I think they're honestly like little plastic name tags that just get hot glued to the wall.
Baby, someone stole yours. You
I
know it's
really
not still
hope
there.
not. I would be so sad. That felt important.
If you did steal it, give it back.
If you stole it, please return it. Thank you very
Along
much.
with my comment. Thank you very much.
Yeah, whoever bought that should honestly sell it to you. That would be a nice thing for them to do.
Guys, they like shipped it across the ocean, which is a huge compliment. It's in Australia, I heard.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
That's a huge compliment that someone wanted it
Amazing.
so bad.
So what I hear you saying is that we also need to take our road show of drama queens to Australia, and these people need to give us a ride to our event eventually in your car.
So if y'all could just get vaxxed so we could like come and hang out like
That would be
globally,
great.
that would be
That would
real
be great.
cool.
We would love it. Okay, who's up next?
Okay, so we have a question from Katie. Katie says, if you were the parent to Brooke, Haley, and Peyton, what advice would you have given them to help them get through high school? I mean, oh my God, are we going to talk for another 45 minutes?
Yeah.
My Lanta.
Should we just give advice for our characters, like as our respective, like parent to our characters?
Oh,
Yes, that makes sense.
that's
Okay.
sweet.
I would have told Haley, it's okay to make mistakes. Don't worry so much about being perfect and trying to control everything. Just let yourself be messy if you need to, and just experiment and experience life.
Yeah. I mean, I would tell Peyton, baby, you got the whole rest of your life to be a grown up. You know, don't rush it. Just be goofy. I see myself trying to be goofy in Peyton, but she wasn't written as goofy. And so I see myself like slumping or like delivering lines kind of goofy. And yeah, I like when I see kids just acting like dorks.
Yeah.
I'd tell Peyton to dork it up.
Yeah. Oh, I would want to give that advice to Brooke also. And actually, Joy, it's so funny. What comes to mind, I don't know if you remember this, but remember when we were in Wilmington and you started asking us to do those 20 questions answers for you?
Oh, my blog.
And you asked me to write advice to my younger self. And it feels so right for Brooke, especially as we've just unpacked some of her performative fear in this episode. But I remember saying, don't worry so much about being someone else's definition of enough. You already are. And I just would want for her to feel that she was enough, that she didn't have to prove or live up to or convince anyone of anything.
I love that.
Little
You're
lady.
enough.
Little
I think
lady.
You guys are totally enough. You're more than enough for me.
You are.
Ditto.
We hope you're having fun with us. We hope you're learning some things, and it's sparking conversations between you and your friends as well. And we're just so grateful that you're tuning in. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Drama Queens.
Yeah, next week we have episode 5, All That You Can't Leave Behind. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm on the
I
edge of
don't
my
either.
seat.
I mean, Lucas is mad at Haley, and Peyton and Nathan are on the verge of breaking up, and something's going on with Brooke in this next episode, I think, too.
Oh my.
We'll have to.
Are you finally going to make a move? Are you going to make a move on the boy?
I don't know. Guys, I don't remember.
Well, we're going to find out real soon. We love you guys. Thank you.
Love you all. Bye.
Bye.
All about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens.